Today's class, we are going to study the next concept is functional groups. But you remember, this is the most important one. After the homologous series, we should know that what is called it as a functional group and how it is going to change the properties of a organic compound. That's what the hydrocarbons. So that's why we'll say that just we have studied in our yesterday's class homologous series. So what is the properties of homologous, everybody? So they are all the compounds having the what? All of you. Same chemical formula. That is what the general formula. The general formula is having the same, and the one carbon to the another carbon varies by how much, everybody? One carbon and two hydrogens. That is what the molecular mass is, how much? One hydrocarbon to the next hydrocarbon. Molecular mass is increased by 14 units. And how many variations? Carbons. One carbon and two hydrogens. Am I right, everybody? So that is what. So if you have taken the alkanes, we have seen that all the alkanes general formula is CnH2n plus 2. So if the first compound, what is the first compound? CH-4. Next one is C2H6. If the first methane will react with some chemical, like they are having a similar chemical properties. So similar chemical properties means in the sense of, if the first compound of a homologous series will react with something, then remaining all the chemicals also, all the compounds also will react with the things. For example, first compound will react with the chlorine, then all the other compounds, C2H6, C3H8, C4H10, C5H12, every compound also will react with the chlorine. If first compound will react with oxygen, then remaining all also react with the oxygen. That is what they are having the similar chemical properties. But as I said, if you are keep on going down, something is increasing. What is increasing, all of you? Molecular mass is increasing. So as we know that if there is an increasing in molecular mass, chemical properties may be same, but there is a gradation in something. What is that, anybody? Yesterday I told you the most important paragraph. Yes, please. Gradation in what? Increasing in. All of you. Anyone? Gradation in which properties? Physical properties. What nonsense you people are doing also, I don't know. Yesterday I have shown you or not before ending the class? Okay then. Thank you everybody. We'll meet tomorrow. All of you relax, no problem. Nobody wants to say anything what we studied also, then what is the use of at least one us studying means okay. Nobody knows. Yesterday I have not mentioned you. Yesterday I have not mentioned this. Gradation in physical properties is same. Because the melting and boiling points increase with increasing molecular mass, and other physical properties such as solubility is also shows the similar gradation. So if the molecular mass is increasing, chemical properties is same, but there will be a definitely change in the physical properties. That is what physical properties like melting points and boiling points. We can notice densities, of course, even the increases gradually. That's the reason, that is what I have told you in yesterday's class. But none of them you are answering. Is there anyone in meeting?
Yes, sir.
Such a people. So that is what we used to call homologous series. So if you take homologous series, we'll get alkenes also homologous, alkynes also homologous. So alkene starts from n is equals to 2, that is what, C2H4, C3H6, C4H8, C5H10. And alkynes means also n is equals to starts from where? 2,
2.
that is what, C2H2, C3H4, C4H6, C5H8, and so on. So if they all are having a same general formula, these all are having same general formula, CnH2n. These all are having the same general formula, CnH2n minus 2. So whatever the compounds having the same general formula and same chemical properties, they all are called it as a homologous series. Not only this, these are called it as a hydrocarbons. Now, these hydrocarbons will be replaced with some other atom. That is what we used to call it as a heteroatom. So this is the most important concept among all the concepts in the carbons compounds. So if I replace hydrogen with some other atom, that is what we used to call it as a heteroatom. So in a organic compound, that's what we can say is, from the hydrocarbons or whatever the other compounds we are getting, like we can see, that is what we will say like derivatives of hydrocarbons, all the things, we are just replacing an atom or a group of atom, we are replacing with some other atoms. That is what the atoms we used to say heteroatoms. So what do you mean by hetero? Means hetero means we all knows that other atom or a different atom. Other than hydrogen means other than hydrogen and carbon, if some other atom will add up, that is what we used to call it as a heteroatom. So now some of the common heteroatoms basically we are having, they are actually the 17th group in the periodic table. So by this time you all know 17th group means what is their valencies? Anybody? Expected valencies. 17th group elements. Valencies is what? Everybody. Valencies of 17th group elements. Chlorine, bromine, iodine, oxygen atom you can take. It's of course chlorine, bromine, iodine, and even including oxygen. These are called it as a halogens and oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur. These all are called it as heteroatoms. So we will study the functional group of organic compounds contains two types of heteroatoms. One is halogen atoms. That's what I'm saying. So we are having only two kinds of heteroatoms in our whole class 10th. Entirely only two. That is what? One is halogens, either replacing with a chlorine, bromine, iodine. And the second type of one is only oxygen. Even we do not have any compounds in class 10th with nitrogen and sulfur also. Only the two types of heteroatoms. One is halogen, that is what chlorine, bromine, iodine, and the next one is oxygen. That's all. So that is what, if I replace the hydrogen, a saturated hydrocarbon, if I have been replaced with an atom or a group of atom, then the resulting compound will become basically extremely highly reactive. So that is what the replacing is only, we used to call it as a functional groups. So all of you keep heading functional groups. So we are having a several functional groups. What is that functional groups and how it is going to happen? We are all going to discuss it. So again, I'm saying whole functional groups for entire class 10th. Only we are going to study about saturated hydrocarbons. So saturated hydrocarbons means what is there actually? Alkanes or alkenes or alkynes, Mr. Aswin? Saturated hydrocarbons means we are going to talk about only alkanes. Never bother about alkenes and alkynes. They are not at all going to ask anything related to alkenes and alkynes. So only we have alkanes. So saturated hydrocarbons, if you have taken, basically they are very, very unreactive. So unreactive. So because of this unreactive, so what we will do means, we will introduce like some other atom or a group of atoms into it, so that what will happen, this unreactive, we will introduce what, guys? Introduce atom or a group of atom, a group of atom, introduce other atom or a group of atom, so that it will be turned up into what? The compound, the resulting compound will turn up into highly reactive. Resulting compound becomes very, very reactive. Again, I'm saying, you listen. If I take the saturated hydrocarbon, basically they are unreactive. They already balances or everything balanced. Now, if I replace it with that any one atom or a group of atoms, resulting compound, whatever it is after replacement of a group of atoms or things, then that resulting compound becomes very reactive. So now, here what is functional group, sir? This introducing of either atom or a group of atoms, this is what we used to call it as a functional group. What we used to call, everybody? Atom or a group of atom, which makes the carbon compound very reactive and decides the properties of the compound, is only call it as a functional group. Once again, I'm saying, whatever the atoms or a group of atoms you are replacing, you are introducing into the saturated hydrocarbon, they are only call it as a, what is to call, everybody? Functional group. Do you understand, all of you? And once you introduce this atom or a group of atom, they will decide the properties of entire compound. Do you understand what I'm saying, Mr. Harish? Once you introduce the new atom or a group of atom, they will decide the properties, they will decide the functions of entire compound. That is call it as a functional groups. Are you clear, everybody? Please respond. Anybody having any doubt? Clear, all of you? Yes? So an atom or a group of atoms which we are introducing, understanding, which makes a carbon compound, reactive. Carbon compound also call it as a what? Organic compound. Please listen that. Remember that. Reactive and decides its properties. If you're not involved in the class, please don't join. It's my request. I have 5 students also, no problem. What is this? All are behaving like this means what I can do? Is called a functional group. Mr. Nimish, are you there in the meeting? That is what we used to call it as a functional group. Do it fast. Yes, sir means what? Everybody's mic is working, I know, except 1 or 2. You all people are nonsense making. So that is what we used to call it as a functional group. Remember that, all of you. So now, if you take, like we are having several functional groups, so we'll discuss it. What is that means? So the first type of functional group, what we have is actually halo group. So this is the most important group. Basically, the halo group, which we are having, like you can take halogen. If you add the halogen, then that is what we used to call it as a halo group. The symbol for halo group will represent bond with X. So this X can be what? X can be chlorine, X can be bromine, and X can be iodine. So this is what is X. Okay. So this halo group, we can write The halo group can be, if you have taken, the halo group can be, it is like a chloro. So chloro means Cl, or it may be bromo, maybe that is what Br, or it may be iodo, it may be, we can write I. So depending upon whether chlorine or bromine or iodine atom link to a carbon atom of the organic compound, we will say, if it is chlorine is reacting, we will say chloro, and hydrocarbon name will add. We'll discuss it. Just to learn the first halo groups. What is that? So halo groups means carbon will link with either chlorine or bromine or iodine. Then second one, if carbon is linked with the OH group, that is what, a group of atom. So that is what we used to call it as a alcohol group. So alcohol group representation is bond OH. So this is the representation of alcohol. So means alcohol group is made up of one oxygen atom and another one is what, everybody? One oxygen atom and another one is what? All of you. And one hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom together. That is what we used to call it as a alcohol group. Alcohol group. So here, so what will happen here? Basically, the alcohol group is, we will also can call it as a alcoholic group, or we can say hydroxyl group. Please note it, never get confused. So alcoholic group also we can call it as hydroxyl group. So the compounds containing alcohol groups, basically we used to call it as a alcohols. So whatever the alcohols we have, everything, wherever we are seeing the OH, it is actually the alcohol. So the standard formula of alcohols will represent with the R bond OH. So what is this R bond OH? R indicates alkyl group. R indicates what, everybody? R indicates what, everyone? Alkyl group. What is the alkyl group? First alkyl group. We have plenty of alkyl groups. Can you tell me first alkyl groups? Anybody? First alkyl group. First alkyl group, methyl. So that methyl, what is the methyl group formula? CH3.
CH3.
So CH3 bond OH. This is what we used to call it as a methyl alcohol. Am I right? Chemistry chapter 1 also we got it. Methyl alcohol, or we used to call it as a what? Methanol. What is to call? Methanol. So R indicates alkyl group. Alkyl group means it may be CH3, C2H5, and even I have taught you, etc. 3 or 4 I have taught you. But basically we can 2 or 3 is enough for us. Next. All of you remember who is the heteroatom present in the alcohol? Oxygen. Oxygen is the heteroatom. Understand all of you? So heteroatom is a what? Alcohol, oxygen. Next, third functional group is called it as a aldehyde group. Aldehyde group. So the representation of aldehyde group is CHO, bond CHO, or note it everybody, single bond C, double bond O, single bond H. If you see like this is what? Or C, single bond H, double bond O. All are called it as aldehyde group. So please remember that. I will give you the suffixes and all. You just remember. This is the aldehyde group. Next, group number 4 is a ketone one. Ketone is the extremely important one. So ketone is basically C double bond O and 2 bonds will come. Or C carbon double bond O. Or we will say carbon CO bond. So these are the representation of ketone group. All the things you should learn. While you are writing the formula, many cases will come. So you should remember that. Okay. And most important thing about the ketone group, which you need to remember, Note it, everyone. This is an extremely important point about the ketone. So ketone group can occur only in the middle of the carbon chain. Note that, everybody. Ketone group occur only in the middle. So for the last carbon and first carbon, it cannot be. Are you clear what I'm saying, everybody? Ketone group only existed in the what? All of you. Middle of a carbon chain. At the last, it cannot be possible. Ketone will never exist at the last. So always exactly if I want to say, in between, note it everybody, in between two alkyl groups. Two alkyl groups. That is what we used to call it as a ketone. So if you find the double bond O only between the two alkyl groups, that is only call it as a ketone. Do you understand, all of you? Are you clear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So ketone will never occur at the last carbon. Next, fifth one, carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid group. Keep it in mind, ketone again I'm saying, most important one, the double bond O will occurs only between the two alkyl groups. If it is not occurs, it is not called it as a ketone. Again you forgot, then there is no, it's a shame for you people, those who forgot that. Again, it's very common mistake where people will make error it is. Next, carboxylic group. Carboxylic group is the fifth one. So that is what? Bond COOH, or we can say bond COH double bond O. This is what we used to call it as a carboxylic group, carboxylic acid. So simply, if you take carboxylic acid group, it is, you can take anything, methanoic acid, ethanoic acid, or whatever the acids we have taken, that is what. So first, for example, methanoic acid formula I have taught you. Can you tell me what is the methanoic acid formula?
HCOOH.
Yes, HCOOH. So if you notice it, H bond COOH. So COOH is there. So it is the carboxylic acid. That's what it is. Meth acid. So we can take that. Clear? If you take ethanoic acid, what is the ethanoic acid? Also we used to call it as, all of you. Ethanoic acid also call it as a acetic acid. What is the
Acetic
formula?
acid.
CH3CO.
CH3COOH.
That's all. So CH3 bond COOH. So COOH is the carboxylic acid. So remember that, all of you. So carboxylic acid group, we can say carboxyl group or carboxylic group. So whatever it is same, please learn it. That is also carboxyl group, carboxylic group, all are same. So please don't get confused. Remember that. Anybody having any doubt, you can ask. Are you clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is what is about 5 functional groups. Remaining functional groups, we all knows that. Alkene. Alkene, of course. Alkene is also functional group. If the alkene means, it will be replaced with the what? Double bond. So if it is unsaturated, double bond. Next, alkyne. Alkyne means what, guys? All of you. Alkyne means triple
Full
bond.
bond.
This is also considered as a functional group only. If it is double bond is there, we used to say alkene. If it is a triple bond is there, we used to say alkyne. If it is alkane, of course, for alkanes only we are doing. It must have what? Everybody. It must have single bond. All bonds are present single. It is alkane. So I hope you all knows these are the functional groups which we have. So mainly functional groups is first one is, what is that? Halo group. Halo groups, what is that? Halogens replacing. That is what halo groups we can say. Either chloride or bromide or iodine. Next, alcohol group. So alcohol group means what? Alcohol group also call it as a what? Alcohol group also call it as a
Hydroxyl group.
one oxygen atom and one hydrogen atom. Next, aldehyde group, CH-4. Ketone is the most important. Ketone is always occurs between the what? Middle of two alkyl
Middle
groups.
of the carbon.
Two alkyl groups. Next, carboxylic acid, COOH. So you need to know these functional groups without fail. Otherwise, it is not possible to make it. So now, make it fast, everybody. In our book itself, we'll finish this. And then I will teach you five compounds in everything. Okay? So, notice, this everything you have to learn it, I am saying you. So now, first, if you have taken haloalkenes. So if you see, everything we are going to replace for what? Only alkanes. Remember, alkenes and alkynes, nothing is there in our class 10. You don't need to worry about anything. Only we are replacing the what? Saturated hydrocarbon. Saturated hydrocarbons. We are replacing the one or group of atoms. That's all. That is only turn up into the new compounds. So first one, haloalkenes. So haloalkenes, you can see. For haloalkenes alone, prefix will come. Remaining all suffix will come. So please remember, prefix is only for haloalkenes. Are you clear what I'm saying, all of you? Haloalkenes only prefix. What is that? Chlorine is added, chloro. Bromine is added, bromo. Iodine is added, iodo. Note it, everybody. So first one, let me take methane. Here they have drawn propane. So methane we all know. So what is the structure of methane, everybody? Methane structure. Make it quick, all of you. This is the structure of methane. Am I right or wrong? I will replace one hydrogen with a chlorine. So what is the name of this compound? Anybody can tell? Prefix. Chlorine I added. Chloro. So what is this name? Chloro. One carbon is there. Meth. So what is that, everybody? Chloromethane. What is the name of that? Chloro. Now three carbons are there here. Three carbons means what is that? Call it as propane. Am I right or wrong?
Propane.
Yes. Chlorine is added. Chloromethane. Sorry, chloropropane. If I add bromine, instead of chlorine, I will write bromine. What will happen, everybody? Chloro. If I add iodine, what will happen? Chloro. Yeah.
Iodopropane.
Iodopropane. That's all. Bromopropane, iodopropane. Are you understand what I'm saying, everybody? Clear? Yes, please. That is, you can see that they have given. Bromine is added, bromopropane. If iodine is added, iodopropane. That's all it is. Iodopropane. Are you clear, guys? What I'm saying? This is for all haloalkenes, halogens. If you add the halogen, suffix will come or prefix will come. Everybody.
Prefix.
The prefix will come. Next, alcohol. Alcohol means what is the functional group? Make it quick, everybody. Book itself you write. What does alcohol mean? OH. Aldehyde. Aldehyde. C double bond O single bond H. Make it quick. By this time you need to know, please. R L C single bond H double bond O. Both are same. Ketone. Ketone means always between where should come? Between two methyl groups. Next, carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid means what will happen? Everybody. C double bond O single bond OH. C double bond O single bond OH. That is what COOH. Okay, wow? Understand, everybody? Please respond. Next, alkenes. Alkenes means what? C double bond C. Alkynes means what? Triple bond. Yes, triple bond C. So for alkenes also, suffix is what? Suffix is what? Replacing ene and wine. Am I right, everybody? Yes, please. ANE will be turned up into ene. ANE will be turned up into wine. When the triple bond is there and double bond is there. Now, alcohol, you can see. What is the suffix? My except haloalkenes remaining all suffix only. So what is the alcohol? What is the suffix, everybody?
OL.
OL. So now 3 carbons is there. What is that alkane? Everybody, what is the alkane? Alkane. Propane. Now propane, okay, we are going to replace the E with the OL. That is what? Propanol. If it is the methane, I will replace the E with the OL. Then it will turn up into what? All of you.
Methanol.
Understand, Amma? Everybody clear? Please respond. Next, same 3 carbons is there, prop, and we have to add Al is the suffix. Aldehyde group Al, alcohol group Ol. If you don't know this, you cannot learn anything. Please learn this. This is your primary duty of today's class. You all should learn suffix. So suffix for alcohol Ol, suffix for aldehyde Al. Minimum 5 compounds will write it after this. Okay. So what is the aldehyde suffix, everybody? C double bond O single bond H. Don't worry about it. Here maybe double bond O single bond H. Then also it is called it as a what? All of you. Aldehyde only. Do you understand, everyone? Yes, that is what? Propanol. So propane, N is replaced with what? Al. Here E will be replaced with what? Ol. Replaced with the Ol, alcohol, Al, aldehyde. Aldehyde means what is the suffix, everybody? Aldehyde means what is the suffix? Al. Next, ketone. As I said, ketone. Ketone means must be existed between the what? C double bond O must be existed between two
2 methyl group.
2-methyl group. Sir, what is the 2-methyl group? Either CH3 understanding or CH3 or CH. Next one is what are C2H5 instead C2H5. Whatever it is there. So any between any two or further any two functional group, any two alkyl group, it has to be present. Do you understand what I'm saying, everybody? Understand, Mitakshri? So now this one you can see. This is one methyl group and this is one methyl group. What is that methyl group, everybody? CH3 bond, and this one is also CH3 bond. Middle carbon is there, double bond O. So it is a what, everybody? Ketone. What is the functional group? What is the functional group is present? Ketone. See, between two methyl groups. Between two methyl groups. Don't think two methyl groups are same. It may be different methyl groups. What is that? Different alkyl group, not methyl group. Different alkyl group. Either it is a methyl or propyl or ethyl or butyl, whatever it is. So anything between that, if you see the double bond O, that is called it as a ketone. So again, what is the suffix for ketone, everybody? 1. OL, AL, 1. So ketone means 1 you should add. So where we should add 1? 3 carbons are there, propane. Instead of E, you will replace with the 1. Propanon, methanon, butanon, pentanon, hexanon. That is what? Just if you replace E with the ONE, that is what we used to call it as a ketone. Next, carboxylic acid, COOH, COOH, you can see that. C double bond O, single bond OH, or COOH. The suffix is IOC, oic acid. Oic acid, you should add it. So this name is propane. Propane, instead of E, I am adding oic acid. That's all it is. So these are the suffixes. Now, I will ask you without seeing, everybody tell me. Halogen. What is the prefix, everybody? Prefix or suffix or halogens? Halogens. Prefix or suffix? Prefix. Chlorine you add chloro. Bromine you add bromo. Fluorine you add fluoro. Fluorine if you add fluoro. Please learn that also. Fluorine if you add fluoro. If you don't know that also you learn. Fluoro. When you add fluorine. F. If you add fluorine. If you add iodine, iodo. Okay, wa? Understand all of you? Iodo. Next. Alkenes and alkynes. What is the suffix? Suffix. ANE replaced with ENE. ANE replaced with what? YNE. Next. Aldehydes. Sorry, alcohols. Alcohols, what is that, everybody? Alcohols. E will be replaced with alcohol. E will be replaced with OL.
OL.
Yeah, aldehyde. Aldehydes. E will be replaced with what?
AL.
Ketones. E will be replaced with 1.
1.
Next, carboxylic acid. carboxylic acid. E will be replaced with the
Oic
Oic
acid.
acid.
That's all wrong. These 4 things also not able to learn.